but the second point I want to make about this category that you need to build, and you need to carve out your own room in the conversation about startups and about business, your own story about a new customer problem that you're solving, is that big tech has just gotten really big. So since 2008 or 2009, that global financial crash, the global stock markets and the US stock markets have grown enormously. But what's interesting is the only growth has been in the big tech companies: Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Google, Amazon, and Facebook. If you take those companies out of the S&P 500, for example, the entire stock market has been flat for the last 12 years. And it's only these big tech companies that have just become massive. And so if you're not creating your own new category and just trying to compete with other competitors, building a commodity business and bidding against each other for Facebook ads or Google ads to try to put yourself in front of customers, then it's really hard to build a big sustainable business with a sustainable competitive advantage. And I think people don't always understand even quite how big the biggest global tech companies are. They're the biggest companies in the history of the world. They're worth over $1 trillion, some of them, the top 3 or 4, which is just mind-bending to me. And so it's the major takeaway for early stage entrepreneurs for me is that you really need to find a way to compete differently. And the way you compete differently is by playing your own game and not someone else's game. So if you are building a CRM, don't just build a CRM that's cheaper and worse than Salesforce. Come up with a new category. And here's just another statistic to illustrate my point. If you win your category, then it's 70 to 80% of all the market cap in your category goes to the winning company. So it tends not to be a very good strategy to be the 3rd or 4th or 5th best company in a category. And if you are building a company in your own category of software, then you might not be successful, but you are already the #1 company in your category. Whereas if you build a company in someone else's category, it's very difficult to be the best company. And it's amazing to me that there's really only room for 2 or 3 companies to be successful in any category of software product or service. And so there's a consulting firm here in Silicon Valley called, both the last slide and this slide are from this consulting firm called Play Bigger, that advises large companies around this concept of category creation, which they did not invent, but is an important concept. And they call it category design, and they call the winners in each category a category king. And so one of the points they like to make is that for early stage entrepreneurs, you are always focused on product design and building product, and you are always focused on company design, like hiring the right people. You need to sell the product and build the product. But what they encourage companies to do and entrepreneurs to do is think about how to design the category of software you're in. So there's some aspects of a category, like the principal one is really who the customers are and who's buying the product, and how much you charge for the product. Is it a product that is cheap and has a lot of users, or is it a product that's expensive that needs to be sold through salespeople to larger companies for a lot of money? Is it a product that integrates with, a bunch of other adjacent competitors? At any rate, the idea is to think about the category, the market you're playing in, as well as your own product and your own company.